Hashem should help us. Am Yisrael is in real tzara. Am Yisrael is in real need. We all need Yeshuas. We all need Yeshuas as individuals and mainly as a tzibur. So many tzara, 8 soldiers. Lo Aleinu. You hear that? You go crazy. What from Chemish? Who? Oh, I think from Tel Aviv originally. Anyway, Hashem Yishmo, I'm saying this online. I'm aware that people are watching me, and I'm saying this. We have to be mischazik. I'm talking mainly to myself, absolutely to myself. And we should all be stronger in our learning, more committed, more serious. Thank you all for coming here. Thank you, parents, for coming. And let's go. Let's start our Amud of today. Ein Ches Amud base in the bottom of the page. And Ches Amud base on the bottom of the page. We are now learning Perek, the last Perek of Kiddushin. And the Mishnah says as follows. This Mishnah is a little bit out of character to the rest of the Perek. It does not directly talk about Yuchsin. Indirectly, it does talk about Yuchsin. So let's go. Today, by the way, we're going to learn about very interesting things about a conflicting marriage between the father married off his daughter and she married off herself. They both acted without consulting with the other one. Lack of communication between the father and the daughter. And that we'll see what is the result. Yeah, not unheard of. Says Heilige Mishnah. A man gave permission to his shliach. In other words, he appointed the shliach to be Mekadish's daughter. Obviously, we're talking here about a girl who's below, how old is she? She's below 12. She didn't yet show 2 hairs. She's not yet a girl, an ayro. And now the father has the right to receive Kiddushin instead of her, not even on her behalf. He is the one receiving Kiddushin and dealing with the Chosan, and she's becoming Mekudeshes. That's old news. We've seen that many times before in the first few prokim. Now, he gave permission to a shliach to be Mekadish's daughter. Let's say on Sunday, the father told someone, yeah, be Mekadish my daughter. Okay, very nice. And then, V'holachu v'kidsha. The father, funnily enough, very interesting, although the father appointed the shliach, what did he do? He himself went and received Kiddushin from someone. In other words, he appointed the shliach to do it, but then he acted himself, right? Instead of the shliach, so it seems, right? Then what happens? Let's say this took place on Sunday and the other one on Thursday. I'm not saying which one which. And then they convene on Friday and they say, oh, one of them received Kiddushin, the father, and also the shliach also received Kiddushin from another guy. The father received Kiddushin for his daughter from Reuven, and the shliach received, another day of the week for Kiddushin from Shimon. So is she married to Reuven or Shimon? Well, it's quite obvious. Im sheloi kodmu kiddush of Kiddushin. If the father was first in that race between the father and the shliach, let's say the father was the first one to receive the Kiddushin. Kiddush of Kiddushin. Yeah, let's say the father, he received Kiddushin on Sunday from Reuven, and then they found out that the shliach was on Thursday. I'm taking it, far apart. Then we say the father was first. What does it mean? When the father actually received Kiddushin, that, as you say in English, action speaks louder than words. The fact that he himself received Kiddushin shows that he annulled the shlichus of the Mishnah in Ches Amud Beis, bottom of the page. Basically, if he received Kiddushin before the shliach, that is to say, I'm the boss. I don't care that I appointed you a shliach. The Kiddushin you did, the shliach, are too late. Musical chairs. My daughter cannot be married to 2 men. You know that? We're not in whatever here, yeah? And therefore, the im shel shluchoi kodmu, continues the Mishnah. Im shel shluchoi kodmu kiddush of kiddushin. Let's say the shliach was first. The shliach was the one who received the kiddushin on Sunday and the father on Thursday. So since by the time, at the moment when the shliach received the kiddushin, the father did not counteract that. The father didn't do it, right? Didn't outdo it. So then the shliach's kiddushin are the kiddushin. That's it. Okay? You may even ask, what's the chiddush? Oh, there's big kiddushin here. But the pasuk pshat is your actions speak louder than words, because you received kiddushin earlier than the shliach. You annulled the shlichus, and the shliach can't work without your permission, without your minui, and therefore that's where it goes. If the shliach received it and afterwards you came too late. When he received the kiddushin, he still had the power, right? The meshalech gives power to the shliach. Very good. Now what happens? Continues the Mishnah. V'im eino yadua. We don't know. They both received the Kiddushin on Wednesday afternoon. And they didn't really look at the watch. They didn't look at the clock of the watch. And we're not sure who received first, the Tatale or the Shliachu. Then what do you say? Shnem noisnim get. Yeah, in other words, both Reuven and Shimon, to get out of that predicament, should both give get. Because it's a suffix, very simple. However, let's say they prefer the Reuven stays with her and not Shimon. Yeah, whether we ask the girl or the father or the choson, if they decide the one guy should stay, very good, why not? Echad noisen get, echad koines, one of them would give a get, and the other one would be koines. Koines is not exactly to consummate the marriage, to have the chuppah. Yeah, there was only Kiddushin, only the giving of the money, Kiddushin. Yeah, one of them will say bye-bye, ciao bambina, and give her the get, and the other one would say, okay, let's go ahead with it. I'm your choson, I'm the one, and get along and go ahead with it to the chuppah. Continues the Mishnah. Now I have a lot to say, but I'm keeping my mouth shut, you see, because let's just continue to the other case, and then we'll see what the chiddush is. Ein tes amud aleph. V'chein ha'isha shenos nereshus l'shlucho lekadsho. The same case exactly. We're not talking about a father of a girl who is below 12. We're talking here about a woman who is either 12 and a half, or 30, or 35, or 22, or 100. Doesn't matter. She is above the bas mitzvah and above the bagrus, and therefore she may receive her own kiddushin. A regular woman, she's looking for a shiddah. V'chein ha'isha. So now we have a woman. The same story. Shenos nershus l'shlucha lekadsha. She appointed the shliach. You, please be my long arm, mayada arichta, to receive kiddushin. I'm appointing you. And when a woman appoints a shliach, she's giving him the power to receive kiddushin. And then this smart girl, what did she do? She, from some reason, went ahead and was makadosh herself. Yeah, the shliach was makabel kiddushin, and she was makabel kiddushin. Well, depends who came first. Im shelo, yeah, depends who. Im shelo kodmu kiddushin. If she was before him, if we realize that her kiddushin, she received kiddushin from Reuven before the shliach received kiddushin from Shimon, then clearly she's. I'll say the same sentence again and again. I'm sorry, I sound like a parrot, which is a good sentence. Action speaks louder than words, right? In other words, if she didn't say to the shliach, she didn't WhatsApp or email or texted, hey, no, I'm not interested in your shlichus anymore. What did she do? She just went ahead, took the initiative, and she received kiddushin from a guy. If she was before the shliach, she's basically telling us and the world and him by actions that excuse my language, I fight on the shliach. I don't care about the shliach. He's not mashliach anymore because I took action. I took action, and therefore the kiddush. Therefore, if he on Thursday received kiddushin from another guy, who cares? He's irrelevant. Nav im shlucha kodmu kiddush of kiddushin. However, let's say the shliach received kiddushin before she did. The shliach received kiddushin on Sunday, let's say, and she received on Thursday. Even though on Thursday she really meant. By the way, of course, we're not in touch. From Sunday to Thursday, I Dafka chose 2 separate days. Soon you'll see why. 2 days at the end of the 2 ends of the week. Yeah, from some reason in the times of the Mishnah, the Wi-Fi was weak, the data, yeah, whatever, the email wasn't clear. They were out of touch with each other for a good few days. So what? The Zoom didn't work. That's today too. That's not only Mishnah times, it's every day. Now, ve'im shel shlucha kodmu kiddush of kiddushin. Let's say they found out that he received kiddushin from Shimon before she received from Reuven, then no. When you received kiddushin from the other guy, maybe then you meant to annul the shlichus, but girl, you are already mekudeshes. Because by the time he received kiddushin for you, he was definitely your shlich by then. You didn't annul him yet. You didn't cancel him. That's very clear. The same as the father. Father is the first, the resh of the Mishnah, and the daughter is the second case. With the Mishnah, the Seifa. And the same goes, continues exactly the same. They convene on Friday, now scratching their head. When did she and the shliach, the shidduch team, she and the shliach both meet together, they convene. When did you receive kiddushin? Wednesday afternoon around 4 o'clock. Oh, min hashamayim, I also received kiddushin from Shimon, from Levi, Wednesday around 4 o'clock. Which one was first? We don't know. We didn't really look at the watch, we're not yakiz, so they don't know who received first, her or the shliach. Then she's Sofik Mukudeshes to Reuben and Sofik Mukudeshes to Simeon. Shnem noisim laget, both Reuben and Shimon, if they want to release her from that, shtoch, from that predicament, they both have to give her a get. and jet set, the get set. Vimrotsu. However, if they want, some people live in a get set, like you have jet set. I know such people. The imrotsu, if they want, echad noisen laget ve'echad koines. If they decide, I saw you. If they decided that one of them will continue and one not, they like each other more than the other guy, yeah. So then what? One of them will give a get, and the other one will go ahead and from Kiddushin, he will morph into what? Into chuppah, into kinus, bedeken, chederichu, chuppah, v'chule. Very nice. I'm asking a question before you. What's the chiddush? Of course. Shall I say again? Action speaks louder than words. Why does the Mishnah have to tell me that? Oh, now we're going to see amazing chidushim. But first, of course, we're going to listen to Ellen, the one and only Ellen. Yeah. What's your question? Before we continue, I just want to tell you, I want to prepare you for the Gemara. And I thought of a mashal, Baruch Hashem. I thought about it a lot. When a person, what are these people doing? Let's focus, let's say, on the girl, yeah? Why is she behaving so strange? She told the shliach, please receive kiddushin for me. If I was her, go drink your tea, drink your coffee, do your stuff, say your tilim, and let the shliach find you a chosan. He's mamish like a shadchan, but active, yeah? Find a chosan. Why is she also afterwards going to look for herself? Yeah? Look by herself for, one way you can say, well, she's annulling the shlichus. She just doesn't believe in the shliach anymore. Goodbye. But it could be many other reasons. Could be many other reasons, yeah? Maybe she is not trusting the shliach to work really that well. Maybe she says, he's one of these slow shadchonim shlichim, and I don't know if he's going to even do the job. So you know what? I'm going to maybe look for a guy myself. I'm going to take the initiative. And she met the guy Reuven, but really she didn't annul the shlichus. But she can't marry to two men. True. Maybe she received from Reuven and keeping her mind, leaving room in her heart, in her mind, that maybe if the shlich will find someone, that these kiddushin don't apply. Maybe she's only receiving kiddushin misofik. Now, it's because she's placing her bets both on the shliach, on herself, and it should not actually annul the shliach. She didn't cancel the shliach, right? Mimeli, you can say she's trying to see, or maybe she'll see who's better. Yeah, I'm trying to receive kiddushin from Reuven, but maybe the shlich will find me a better guy. She trusts him, she doesn't trust him, who's going to come first, I'll give you a good mashal. You come to an Israeli wedding. As you know, Israeli weddings, it's a pro and a con. There's no, in most chasanas, unless you are any chasan is in Israel outside Ramat Gan, yeah, you don't have name places, right? There's no seating plan. Maybe a fancy place in Yerushalayim. So you sit next to your friends. So what do you do like a good Israeli? You go to the Haven Meyer, but then you place your hat on something or your wallet or your phone on the place to reserve. How about if I ask a guy, you catch me one place next to my friends, and I also catch another place next to my friends. I'm not annulling. I'm placing my bets in two places. Maybe my place will be better. Maybe his place that he found for me will be better. Maybe the next two even better friends. And therefore, you can say I'm placing my bets, and the fact that I put her handkerchief in the other place doesn't annul me marking my territory in the other table. Maybe I'm trying both ways, and at the end of the day, I'll decide which one. And that in Kiddushin can possibly maybe work too. That changes the picture, and now we're going to go into those svaras. So many questions already. Today's question day, he was first. Judging by questions, you are very ready to the Gemara. Zog the Gemara v'tzricha. The Gemara's question is not even our question. The Gemara's question is, why is it that we needed to be mashmiya to tell? Why did the Mishnah have to tell us this chiddush, whatever the chiddush is, both in the case of the father and the case of the daughter? The cases of the Mishnah are extremely repetitive, right? We say exactly the same case, the same halacha, copy and paste, except for in the first case it's a father, in the second case it's a girl herself as an independent adult, but still the same idea. Canceling the shliach, not canceling the shliach. Why did Mishnah have to mention the exact same concept in two very similar cases? Why is that? Tzricha says, yes, both cases are needed. Now we're going to have the fun. Here comes fun, and we're going to see some Rashi today too. Regarding the father himself, I would have said the following, like Peretz said. A man, namely the father, now in the times of the Gemara, and this is the connection to our parak, you judge a boy a lot by his yichus. Today you would say, is he learning in Ponevezh or the Mir or in I don't know, whatever you stand, Merkaz Arav, whatever. Yeah, where does he learn? And there's money, there's is he good looking, is it this, is he funny, humoristic, cool, all kinds of things. In the Gemara, but the Emes thing, Yuchsin, yeah. So therefore, let's say the father The father knows who is a miyuchas and who's not a miyuchas. The father is a learned man, he's a man, and he knows that he would prefer a kohen, wow, or a ver miyuchas dik Yisrael over maybe there was the mamzeres maybe in the family 4 generations ago are less excited. The father knows more what he's looking for. So what? We have to see Rashi inside. Look at Rashi. Gava kim lebiyuchs in the first Rashi in the top. Ukshemotsu miyuchas, not miyucheses. As Parrot said, the father sent the shliach, but then the father, the shliach was still dilly-dallying there. The father met a guy, strong yichus, best yichus, he is mamish pedigree, mamish, with family tree till Moshe Rabbeinu till chves, and then kid shaloi ubitel es a shliach. Then we clearly understand if he met such a great guy, he doesn't care about the shliach, whatever he's going to do, and he canceled the shliach as long as he managed to be the first one in the race, and on Sunday he received Kiddushin from, so to speak, from the good miyuchas guy. He says, that's the one I want. I'm not placing my bets, maybe yes, maybe no, dilly-dally. I want this one, and the shliach, kaput the shliach, I don't care. As opposed to who? I'm continuing the Gemara, and then in Rashi. Aval itza delokin lo biyuchsin. A woman doesn't know so much about yuchsin. She may know the guy she wants, but a woman is she doesn't come to Amud Yomi Shiur 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:30. She doesn't know so much what shtuki asufi. She doesn't know that much. Ema lo nehavi kiddushin. I would have said that even if she came before the shliach, maybe she's not canceling the shliach because she's not sure of herself. Rashi, back to Rashi. Aval itza deloikin lo biyuchsin. Ema, listen to what it would have said. Afilgav the kidsha atzma, even if she received Kiddushin herself on Sunday before the shliach, lo bitles a shliach. She's not canceling out the shliach. She doesn't trust her own judgment, her own Kiddushin. The Savo, she thinks, Dilma shliach mashkach miyuchas mizeh. She says, listen, I met this very nice guy on Sunday, such a terrific guy. Yichus, he told me this weird word, shtuki asufi. Not sure. I have a shliach, he's a seasoned shadchan, he knows about shidduchim and yichusim, and therefore, if he finds me someone on Thursday, I'll go for the Thursday guy. I'm right, like in the chasana. I'm putting my kepala over here in case I don't find anything better. But if my shlich will find me something better later, I'll run for the later one because it's better. Maybe that's what I would have said. That's a strong havamina. Maybe the girl is not canceling. She is trying, but she keeps room in her heart. Maybe the shlich will find me somebody better. He knows better. And therefore what? I would have said that really, even Sunday, even if she came first, she didn't annul, and the shliach's kiddushin would apply because she wasn't miskadeshes belev shalom. She's only placing her bets on this horse. I have no questions now. I would have said me the kiddushin, maybe her kiddushin or not kiddushin. That's by the what? That's by the men. But the men will say, okay, I understand the men don't rely on other men. I know what's good for my daughter. And if I came on Sunday, I'm the boss. I'm a man. I'm a territorial. I know that's a good yichus, and that's what I decided, and I canceled the other one. Out, you Mr. Shliach. That's by a man. Tamash Malan, what? By a woman, we also say that. Not only by a man. By a woman, we also say that she too canceled the Shliach, and she's not maybe yes, no, maybe so. Okay, no, good. If so, why don't you only tell me the second case of the Mishnah about her, and don't tell me about the father? I would say the opposite svara. When it comes to personality, when it comes to the man she wants to live with, who cares more, the girl or the father? The girl. She's going to live with him, not the father. If the Mishnah only told me about her, mishum the itza daiko minsava, a woman is medayekes. I'm sorry. A woman is more particular. She knows who she wants. She wants a guy with a PhD who's learning the whole day, not learning the whole day. She knows exactly what she wants. Yeah, she wants that guy, and therefore, if she found the right guy on Sunday, she's annulling the shliach who may only find it on Thursday. No way. Yeah, I found the right guy. Boom, there's stars and hearts flying all over, right? And of course, I don't care anymore about the shliach. That's dafka by the woman, but the adult woman. Aval iu, by the men, maybe the father of the young girl below 12 is marrying her because misken, he needs to marry a girl below 12, which is not lechatchila. He doesn't care so much about the quality of the choson. I saw one of the meforshim brings down the Gemara in, I think, Psochim, bitcho bagro, shacher avdecho. Your daughter is already in shidduchim age, free or slave, as bad as a slave cannot even give her your slave, your meshucher to marry. In other words, the Gemara is being a bit, exaggerating cynically. Just find her shidduch already. So the father says, Yalla, I just don't get somebody for my daughter. So therefore, tzricha. Oh, what would have I said by the father? Look at Rashi. Lo yichpes lebebito, the second Rashi. Im tinosam liyuchas kol dehu. The father doesn't care as long as the guy is not a complete mamzer. The seder, let them marry already. V'lo batle lishluchos deshliach. Oh, v'afilu mekat shel gerua. But he doesn't mean he's annulling the shlichus of the shliach, right? But the father will have a different svara. You know why the father rushed all of a sudden? Father appointed the shliach, then he's rushing to find somebody himself. Are you normal, Mr. Father? Yes. Why? He's not so particular, but he says this shliach is taking his time. The father is rushed. Yalla, he wants to get his daughter out of the house quick. And therefore, this shliach is taking his time. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yalla, let's get my act together. He says, I'll find someone, because maybe the shliach will just not move. But maybe he's not so midayik dafka. That's the guy I want. He chopped someone for his daughter. But once the shliach will tell him on Thursday, hey, mister, I found the perfect guy for you. Super yichu, super good. Then, al das zeh, I never wanted to cancel your shlichus. And I know that really the shlich will find me the superstar of the yichus. Of course, I want the best for my daughter if possible. And therefore, my Sunday Kabbalah's Kiddushin did not annul the shlichus. I played it safe, like in the chasana. I quickly want to chop a chair, a seat. They're territorial, very anxious. I chopped. If later, because I'm scared my friend will not find me the seat as I asked him. He's davening Meyer for 2 hours. But if he finds me a better seat, of course I'll go to the other seat. I didn't annul the shlichus for him. That's the svor by the father. Kamash malan. Kamash malan tzricha. So let's repeat. In both cases, the father and the daughter, what? No, tzricha the Mishnah. The Mishnah tzricha to tell me. The Mishnah has to tell me both the concept of outsmarting, of acting before the shliach, of acting before the shliach and quickly chopping kiddushin before the shliach did his job is not interpreted as a maybe either on her side or just let's play it safe and quickly get something, second best of the father. We don't say these svaras either by the girl mitzad quality or the father mitzad time. He's rushed yalla to get her out of the system. In both cases, we don't say that. What do we say? Don't laugh at me. We say again, action speaks louder than words. An action of getting kiddushin from another guy instead of the shliach before the shliach managed to act means that I'm annulling the shlichus. Now that's a whopper of a chiddush. We don't use all the other psychological svaras, but we simply say no. When either the father or the girl they act before the shliach, that means that they are now taking the reins into their hands and they're annulling and nullifying the shlichus. And therefore, we don't need a get from both of them. Hopefully, they'll be married. Yeah. So, therefore, the first one wins. The first one wins. It's a race. Yes. Very good. Good. Itma. Yeah. Are you happy?
Instead of annulling the shliach, if the shliach is there first, then he can't.
I didn't say. Of course, I'm speaking when they came first. The shlich is for that's not the issue. Yeah. We're talking when they were first. Yeah, right. Absolutely. Itma. Okay. From this moment on, we're entering a newish sugya, and that will be the sugya till the end of the Amud and beyond. We're going to see some beautiful tosfos also. Itma. Lack of communication between the father and his daughter. Yeah, sounds familiar. Itmar. Kidsha avia baderech. The kidsha atzma ba'ir. Father and daughter, the same day, I want to stress because that's important, the same day, the father received kiddushin from Reuven while he was on his way in the countryside, out of town. The kidsha atzma ba'ir, the girl also received kiddushin, when she was in town, and she also received kiddushin from someone. Can such a thing happen? Bichlal? How old is she? Varei bogeres. Right now, when they come to Beis Din, she's a bogeres. Well, the question is obviously as follows. Let's just understand what's going on here. A girl who's not bogeres. Bogeres means what? Shtei saros, usually 12 years old, plus 6 months. Yeah. Well, Once a girl is bogeres, 12 and a half, the father has no way, no right to receive Kiddushin for her, right? Below that, he may receive Kiddushin for her, okay? So now, because she's Naira, Naira means when she's Ktana or Naira, up to 12 and a half. 12 and a half, she's a Bogeres, and only she can receive Kiddushin. So now the father received Kiddushin earlier than her, that you have to understand. Let's say it's the same day. The father received Kiddushin from a boy for his daughter, 9 o'clock in the morning, right? She received Kiddushin from another boy herself, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and now she came to Beis Din, and she's a Bogeres. She's now 12 and a half. Yeah, she's now a Bogeres. We know that she's a Bogeres. So the question is, what do we say? Was the father's Kiddushin, did the father's Kiddushin apply because she's a Naira? Or do we say that she was the Bogeres already from the morning? And if she was the Bogeres already from the morning, from 7 o'clock in the morning, from the beginning of the morning, then the father has no right to receive Kiddushin. Let's focus the question. When the father receives Kiddushin from a girl, and we don't know if she was the Bogeres or Naira, we're not sure what she was, and the father receives Kiddushin for her. If she's a Naira below 12 and a half, Gezunt Eid, she's Mekudeshes, and her Maisa later is nothing. Musical chairs, out. You can't be married to two men. Mashenken, if she was already a Bogeres, no. Then his Maisa is nothing. You can't receive Kiddushin to 12 and a half. And therefore his Maisa is nothing, and her Maisa in the afternoon is everything. We're going to develop it as we go along. I spoon fed you a little bit, by the way. It's one of these cases that's being built as we go along. Rav Omar, Mechlokes Rav Shmuel. Rav Omar, Harei Bogeres Lefanenu. Says Rav as follows, listen. You don't know if when the father receives Kiddushin 9 o'clock in the morning, if she was Bogeres or Naira, adult or little, yeah, whether he can or cannot apply Kiddushin to her, yes, can receive Kiddushin for her. Says Rav, I go by the present. Now Beis Din convinced to know what to do. It's now 9 o'clock at night, right? As I like to say, 9 o'clock at night. Then now she's the Bogeres. Let's assume she was the Bogeres right from the morning, the whole time. Okay. And therefore the father's Kiddushin, nothing, nada, not even a chashash. Wow. And her Kiddushin is everything. She's Mukedesh to her sweetheart, to the afternoon guy, that she got Kiddushin from 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Shmuel says, I'm not sure. Shmuel argues with Rav, and Shmuel says, I'm not sure. I think it's a suffix. I don't know if 9 o'clock in the morning she was Naira or she was a Bogeres, and therefore both can happen. Why? If in the morning she was a Naira, then the father's Kiddushin apply, and hers is nothing. I'm not sure, says Shmuel. Maybe in the morning she was a Bogeres, right? And therefore his Kiddushin are nothing. Can't receive Kiddushin for 12 and a half already, and therefore and she was a spinster. She was a single girl. And now what? And now she received Kiddushin in the afternoon, and she became an Eshes Ish. Says Shmuel, I don't know. I have both ways. I see both possibilities, right? Fact the Gemara. Now soon we'll get to the real deal. Amos, when did that happen? How come you don't know if she's Naira Bogeres? These things take. When did it happen exactly? Let's say this story happened within the 6 months between her bas mitzvah and 12 and a half. During this period, how was she called, my friends? Nara. Very good. And not the Bogeres. And Nara, a father may still receive Kiddushin for. She's not Ktana, she's Nara. If it's within 6 months, now Rashi says, other Rishonim argue, Rashi says that some girls are early bloomers, as we know, yeah. We see that some girls that develop earlier, and sometimes Rashi believes that Naira, the Bogeres, is not a there's a cost of 12 and a half. It really depends on Simonim in the Mishnah in Nida, yeah, in Nida Daf Mem Zayin, that it says over there, it depends on the shape of her chest, yeah. If the breasts develop enough, that she's called a Bogeres, and some girls are 3 stages to the breast. It's a whole description in the Mishnah, and basically in how to check it and measure, it's all halacha. And therefore what? If she happens to be an early bloomer, then she became a Bogeres in the middle. But that's assumed not to be. Most girls, unless you know otherwise, unless the nurse checked her, let's say, she's assumed to be a Naira for 6 months. So now, if this beautiful story of confusion between the father receiving and the girl receiving in the same day, if it happens within 6 months, then Rav would say, listen, now she's the Bogeres, for sure she was Bogeres already from the morning. No way. Hashto de Bogro. Of course, she only became Bogeres at night. Again, the case, let me give hours. 9 o'clock in the morning, the same day. Which day? Yud Sivan, Tafshin Pei Dalid. Yeah. 9 o'clock in the morning, the father received Kiddushin. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, she received Kiddushin from another guy. And Beis Din comes at 5, 6 o'clock right after, and she's a Bogeres. To get a woman to nurse her, to check her in the toilet, and she sees that she's a Bogeres, according to the way we see it now. Yeah, the way we understand now. And what do we say? Okay, says Rav, she is what? She's a Bogeres. We assume that in the morning she was a Bogeres. That cannot be. If it's within the 6 months, a girl is always muchzak to be a naira. Only at the very, very last moment, wow, it's a chiddush. She's only 3 months after bas mitzvah. She already looks like a woman. That's a chiddush. You, Rav, cannot take the present and move it backwards, extend it to the past from 9 o'clock in the morning. No, it's very likely that the change happened as late as possible, because normally it would happen 6 months after, not 3 months later. It's already a chiddush against nature. You want to extend the miracle, Kilu? You want to tell me that it didn't happen now? It happened 9 o'clock in the morning, and clearly already then she was a Bogeres, and the father's Kiddushin is garnished? You can't say that. That's against Chazaka. She's muchzekes all the time to be naira. Oh, wow. The girl, the women come out and say, wow, I don't believe it. She's a woman. That's a big chiddush. Ainli boy l'chidushoy. Probably she became a woman in the evening, not in the morning. Ela must be lachar shisha chodoshim. Lachar shisha. After 6 months. The whole story happened when she was already clearly a Bogeres. Like the Gemara, if she is 100% Bogeres, she is ready. I'm exaggerating now. She's 13. She's 13. Bar mitzvah. Yeah? She is already clearly a Bogeres. In such a case, Shmuel would say, well, I'm not sure. Maybe in the morning she was a Naira. Excuse me? Maybe in the morning she wasn't yet a Bogeres. I don't know. What? The Omer Shmuel himself is the one who said, listen to this line. Shmuel was a doctor. Yeah, Shmuel said there is no gap. There's a maximum gap between Naira and Bogeres of 6 months, not more. So if she's 13 or even 12 and 7 months, even 12 and 7 and 6.5 months, then clearly today in the morning she was also Bogeres. I'm an adult man, and you know what? This morning I was also an adult man. Nothing changed, right? Yeah, so obviously it can't be. Oh, now we come to the real question, to the lomdus. Now we're coming. Here we come to a crescendo. Lo itzricha. No, we need to. The case is as follows: the kaddish be'yoyim the mashlim shisha. Bingo. You know when she received kiddushin, and so did he first on the day of her bas mitzvah plus half. On the day of her turning from Naira to Bogeres, when she's becoming 12 and 6 months, yeah, 12 and a half, on that day, that's when it happened. In the morning, we all agree, Rav Shmuel and everybody else agrees that at some point today, the miracle will happen. You know, sounds like a mother talking to a daughter, yeah? Today, the miracle will happen. You'll become a Bogeres. When today? That's a good question. So now the father received Kiddushin when? In the morning. The girl in the afternoon. Says Rav, I assume that right from the morning, she was already a Bogeres. When the father received Kiddushin, it's just one big joke. You can't receive Kiddushin for an overage girl. Rav, soon we'll see the lomdus here. Very beautiful lomdus. Rav Omar Rei Bogeres Lefonenu. What I see now in front of my eyes in Beis Din, when we look in Beis Din and she's 6 o'clock in the evening, let's say, we see a Bogeres. That's what I see in reality. That's what I see now. Bedahashta Bogeres, Betzafra Nami Bogeres. Oh, in other words, since now she's a Bogeres, I'm extending backwards, I'm backtracking, and I assume that right from the morning she was a Bogeres. Okay, and therefore, soon we'll explain why. And therefore, what? The father's Kiddushin is Gornish mit nicht. Shmuel Omar, no. Shmuel says, I'm not sure. Hashtu the Isi Simonim. Shmuel says, no. Only now she actually brought the Simonim. Now I see the Simonim, but not before. And therefore, I'm not sure. Now I see that she's a Bogeres, but I don't know if 9 o'clock she was a Bogeres. Maybe she was still a Naira. Maybe the change happened closer to the time when I inspect it. basically, what's a lomdisha question here between what's a kudas achakira? What's behind? What's the bone of contention between Rav and Shmuel? More. Chazaka, which means, yeah. No, I just wanted to look at Rashi. I'll say it to me in their own words. Yeah. The thing is as follows. Everybody knows chazaka, right? We see in Kiddushin and all over Shas chazaka every time. What's chazaka? If things were so and so, we assume that they stay so and so, right? I have a suffix whether a woman was mukudeshes, not mukudeshes. I'm assuming she's not. She was not mukudeshes since she was born till she was 18. There's a question, yes or no Kiddushin. We keep things as they were before. Here it's not simple, right? Rav says, I know that up until now she was supposed to be a naira. So maybe I should say she was a naira in the morning. Says Rav, no. That's only true by chazakas that are not supposed to change. But here there are two counter forces. Mitzad echad, now that's lomdus, briske. From the moment she was born, yeah, when she was 0 years old, yeah, until today, until 12 and a half, she was ktana, naira, under the father. So mitzad echad, I have an ongoing chazaka. That's true. On the other hand, I know that today is the day, at some point, boom, the change is going to happen from naira to bogeres. Says Rav, therefore, since I know the change is happening today, that completely annuls the previous chazaka. Right from Neit Sachama, from Alois Shachar, right from the beginning of the day, today is the day when the miracle of Bagrus will happen. Today the boom is going to happen, the aha moment. Then I don't care bichlal about the previous chazaka. That chazaka is 12 and a half years. So what? Yeah, who cares, says Rav. I ignore it because I go by the present. And the present mitzidi is any point today. I know that today the change would have happened. Could very well be. It happened in the morning. And look, in front of my eyes, what I see is the Bulgarian girl. I take that from the morning. Beforehand, who cares about beforehand? There's a clear dichotomy from before today and today. Shmuel says no. Shmuel says, I see both sides. Shmuel says, I hear you, but no, I'm not so sure, Rav. Because on one hand, it's true that the change is supposed to happen today at some point. On the other hand, the chazaka is also here. There's two pushing forces. There's chazaka coming from one hand, and there's change for Bagrus coming from here. The collision of the Titanics, right? On one hand, there's a chazaka up until now. On the other hand, no. I know that now she's the Bulgaris. I know she's now Bulgaris, and I know Bagrus should happen today, but I don't know if it was in the morning. Maybe in the morning, the old chazaka still stays. It's like two kings who fight over, like two prime ministers. Who's going to get off the throne, and will the other one? Oh, so Shmuel says he sees both sides. Like so much to see Toysas, but you guys have a lot of questions. Okay, that's basically the question in Lomdus. The Shaila in Chazokas. Chazokas Shul Ishtanus. Maybe that's what you mean. He has a similar thing in Nida. It's Nagel Alocha. And Nida, a woman who didn't see blood for a long time, but we know it's going to happen. Yeah, she didn't see blood. She didn't see blood. I know today she's supposed to see. Mitzad she's Chazoka not to see. The change is the Chazoka today, yes, to see. Normally, so it's a similar idea. Okay, questions? Fine. If we get to do Toysas, that would be nice. The Gemara is going to attack Shmuel now. He's going to ask questions on Shmuel from two different places. Again, let's repeat, let's revise and review. What did Shmuel say? Shmuel said, when I know that a change is supposed to happen, there was situation X up until some time ago. She was a Naira. Y. Now she's a Bulgaria. It's a new situation. Says Shmuel, we're besophic. We don't know when the change happens, so we're playing it both ways, right? In the morning, what happened? Either the father was Mekadesh or not, depends if it was Nar Bagaris, and we'll treat it as Sophic, and she'll need get from both guys, by the way. She's a get set. Shmuel, Frag the Gemara, Nami Mikveh. According to you, Shmuel, I'm asking a question of Shmuel, why is this case different to the case of Mikveh? Similar case to what we saw in Daf Samech Vav Amud Beis, but not the same. That not. Mikveh Shenimdad, a Mikveh, the Mikveh committee, the rabbi of the town, as he does, checks the mikveh every once in a while. I apologize, parents. I didn't find out how often that has to happen. Maybe ask Rav Davidovich. I'm sorry. Mikveh shenimdad. A mikveh was measured. The mikveh now, the measured, and there's less than 40. So, So let's say the previous check, like in elevators, in lifts, previous check was that date. There's checks every once in a while. So let's say that mikveh was checked a month ago to play it safe. And it was full and good. The measurement was right. The water was full. Now what? It's missing even a little bit. It's not a good mikveh. Now the question is, what do you do with all the tyrus, all the kalim that were dipped in the mikveh this entire past month? We're not talking about women, which what comes to mind in today's mikveh world. We're talking here about vessels, about kalim. Remember, if we lived in the times of Beis Hamikdash, and soon we will, then all the kalim, I mean, I don't know about paper, the kalim that we have to go to mikveh, not because they're manufactured by a goy, also, but because they're tomeh. Let's say you have a kli and you have a dead mouse in the kli, then what do? You wash it well, take it to the mikveh, right, to become tar. Okay, you have a metal kli. So now all kinds of kalim were dipped in that mikveh. Now is, let's say, Rosh Chodesh Sivan. Rosh Chodesh Sivan, tragedy struck the community. The mikveh is choser, is missing, is lacking, yeah, is below level. And Rosh Chodesh Iyar, it was good. What do you do with all the dishes that were nitbal when between Iyar and Sivan? Okay, so take it again to the mikveh. No. What about all the food that was cooked and placed in those kelim? Is the food tomeh? Do I, Rabbi, ask all the women in the community in the WhatsApp groups, Rabbi, do I have to throw away all the food that was cooked in all the kelim that were dipped in the mikveh? Oh my gosh, Prince, I don't believe it. Yeah, in other words, that's a question. All the food that was done and made and served and still there in the kelim that were dipped in that mikveh, was the mikveh kosher and the kelim tohar and the food good and yummy and fine? Or do you say no? The mikveh is retroactively now supposed to be choser from the last time we know better, a whole month ago. It's retroactively, as you said, choser, and all the food is now to be thrown in not thrown in the garbage, be burnt. And what does it say over there? Let's continue. Mikveh shenimdad, nimtza choser, listen to this, kol tayar shenasol gobov, all the kelim that were dipped in that mikveh, okay, lemafreya, retroactively the entire month, ben b'shus hayochid, ben b'shus harabim tmeos. Wow. What's the difference of shus hayochid and shus harabim? Are we learning Shabbos here? No. Well, there is a difference. Sofik tuma b'shus hayochid is tomeh. If you have a question about tuma in a private place, it's tomeh, because yesterday we have learned in the Torah, we read in the scroll in the synagogue about a woman who's unfaithful to her husband and she hid in a secret place, in a closed place, and she's tomeh. So to anything which is doubtful in a closed area, was there tuma, wasn't there tuma, we always render it tomeh. But here we say, even though shusarabim, even if that mikveh where the suffix was created as a mikveh in Rosh Hashanah, it's in a public place. Don't worry. The only thing you dip there is kalim. Yeah. And what? And now, even then, we're harsh, and we don't say, as usually we say, suffix tuma b'shus harabim toho. It's doubtful suffix in a public place is toho. Here we go all 9 yards. We say tmeos. So look, it's a similar case to the case of the girl. Why? Because here too, we know that the mikveh for, let's make it a little more dramatic, just for the sake of it. This mikveh has been there for 20 years, 30 years. It's an old Haredi neighborhood in Yerushalayim, okay? It's been checked for 30 years, tar, kosher, but that's it, the Haredis, they all love it. Boom. All of a sudden, it's choser. Okay, so there was chazaka, boom. There's now anti-chazaka. So that sounds pretty much like a girl who was under her father, under the father, boom, becoming Bogeris. And here, and Shmuel says, well, I don't know, I'm not sure. I hear both studim. And here, what do we say? No, tmeos. He would say clearly, because soon we'll see why. But first, let's just get the facts. We see that here, once the mikveh is tom, and now we assume that now is pulled backwards, applies backwards to the last time it was checked. If it was checked 30 days ago, we assume, highly assume, Tome, not even Sofek, it's surely Tome, even in Rosh Hashanah. That's a Chiddush. Everything in this mikveh is Tome, kaput, garbage, Tome, terrible. Why? According to you, Shmuel, this is bad news. Why? Because according to you, Shmuel, no, you should say it's a Sofek. Up until now, up until Chodesh Iyar was amazing and good for years. Now in Sivan and see a change. Let's play it both ways. We don't say that. We say Tmeos. They're clearly Tome. Answers the Gemara. This Gemara is a very, very ping pong kind of Gemara. Only in the first wide line we'll get the whole picture. Answers the Gemara, no. Shani Hossam, over there it's different. As we said in Daf Samech Vov, excuse me, the mikveh over there is not the only game in town. the mikveh is there only to serve people or kalim. Let's look at the kalim. People don't come to mikveh kalim because they're bored. They come to mikveh kalim because the kli is tome. It's not like today from Chutz La'aretz, yeah? The kli is tome. It's bechezkas tome, right? And therefore, if we have a question on the mikveh, really the question applies and shoots back at the kli. The kli clearly was tome. The kli, up until the second he was dipped into this maybe mikveh, if you look at the kli, move, yeah, maybe just avert your gaze from the mikveh already for a second and look at the kli. That kli, yeah, that black and white Naaman porcelain thing, I don't know, that was what? That was tome. So therefore I would say, I bring it to the chazaka of Tuma, and that's why over there, I would say that it's tome. Mashenkin over here, we don't have that factor, and therefore here it's a maybe. Correct the Gemara, Adrabah. Why don't you say the other way around? Excuse me. According to you, Shmuel, you're not really answering. Why do you look at the tome and you say that the tome kli was tome and supposed to remain tome unless known otherwise? Look at the mikveh. You, Shmuel, told me that if a mikveh was just like the girl, we assumed that the girl was at least potentially, possibly under the father till the last moment. Here too, at least say that the mikveh only became choser at the last moment, only today. But for 29 days, maybe it's a suffix, but not for sure, Tome. Why? And says the Gemara, no, hare choser lefanecha. Shmuel is changing his colors, it looks like. And she says, I don't know, I go by what's now. Mamash like Rav was saying. Shmuel says, no, right now I see a mikveh choser, I see a problematic mikveh, I take that picture, I copy and paste it for 30 days. Up until the moment there was known to be otherwise. Shmuel, is that what you were saying? But the Bogeris also, you should say, like you're saying like Rav. You're telling me, because she's Bogeris now, I assume she was Bogeris the entire day from that questionable time. For the mikveh, it's a month, the girl, it's 1 day. I assume what's going on now probably is what's been there retroactively from the time of the Sophic. Says the Gemara, no, hashto de bogo. That says, no, only now she was Bogeris. Right? The Gemara also, nami hashto de choser. It's mamish like ping pong, it's mamish like wrestling, yeah? Here too, you should say, only now it's missing. Right? Kilu, kivyochel, make up your mind. Now comes the final answer. Awesome. Tati l'reusa, hochochad l'reusa. Oh, very, very good. Now we have to see Rashi. That is the final clear, crystal clear answer. How Shmuel differentiates, and I'm going to explain extra long this here, Be'ezus Hashem. Let's see now how Rashi explains the final answer to differentiate. Shmuel now differentiates between the case of the girl and the case of the mikveh. I'm repeating the question. The question was a bit, built up. I'm repeating the question. In the case of the girl, you, Shmuel, says the Gemara. The Shmuel is now putting Shmuel, Kivyochel, his opinion on the hot spot. You, Shmuel, told me, when I know a certain situation went on and on and on and on, years, I know that all of a sudden it may change today. There was a change. Look, I see now a Bogeris in front of my eyes at the end of the day. Says Shmuel, well, I don't know. On one hand, she was nair all the time for 6 months already. On the other hand, right now, we see she's the Bogeris. What happened 9 o'clock in the morning? I don't know how to connect the 9 o'clock in the morning. Does 9 o'clock in the morning belong to the previous 6 months? She's a little girl that the father can be Mekadosh, or is 9 o'clock in the morning belongs to now, to the end of the day, to 9 o'clock at night, when we know for sure she's the Bogeres, and then the father cannot do anything. Shmuel says question mark. That in-between area, between the two, so to speak, milestones, maybe. That's very nice, what Shmuel says there. By mikveh, we don't say that. By mikveh, we say, the mikveh was kosher, Eidach Haredis of Nisim Kareli, it's Kedasya. Kedasya, the Givech Shon Mikvois? Yeah, good, I don't know. For months, till Rosh Chodesh. Then they did another checkup, the other Chodesh, the next Rosh Chodesh. Horrible. Wow, missing, the water is missing. What do we say? We're not dilly-dallying maybe. What do we say? No, the whole month up until the previous point when it was known to be better, it's Tomeh. What's the difference? The kids, so that's a question. With all that we're trying to dance here and there, at the end of the day, that's a question. Answers the Gemara, it's not the same. Why? Over there, but the case of the mikveh, there are 2 strikes against us, and here there's only 1 strike against us. Rashi, this has to have Rashi. Rashi Tarti L'Reusa. Look at Rashi, short and sweet. It's Rashi a few lines before the end of the narrow lines. Tauti l'rusa, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, from the end of the narrow lines. Tauti l'rusa, tomel chizkosoi ve'arichosa lefonecho. That's first. In the case of the mikveh, there are two factors who are not so good. Tome, look at the guy or the kli, whoever is tome, and look at the mikveh. No good news either way. The item that's supposed to go to the mikveh, we know billion% that up until the second it went into dipping, it was tome. I have a suffix whether the dip was good or bad. I learned in early in my life always chazako, the kli is muchzak to be bad. What about the mikveh? To focus on the mikveh, the mikveh is not such great news either, because the mikveh right now is missing, and therefore betziruf together with the tome, or to also assume that the mikveh was bad and treif and missing right from the start. What about the girl? Hacha, continues Rashi, the next Dibar Maschil, Gabi Kiddush Sha'av Chadal Erusahu. The Kiddushin of the father is only one strike against us. Against what? The Ika. Hare Bogeres Lefanenu. Says Shmuel, I see that she's Bogeres. True. On one, Shmuel said, one strike for the father, one strike for the girl. They're fighting now. Who is the Choson? On one hand, right now, I see a girl who's a Bogeres. And I have tremendous yetzer to say, okay, like you, my colleague Rav, she's not Bogeres. Let's assume she was the Bogeres right from the start. It's not so simple. Aval, in Batlamar Hamadish al Chizkoso, right? If you want to say, on the other hand, you know what? Maybe the woman be maimid her on her chazoko. Maybe just like you maimid the tome on chizkosoi, the woman, you should say that the woman too is also hamid al chizkos on her chazoko. That what? That she's a naira? You can't say that. Yomi de mishlam shis, that day that the 6 months come to its end, lav cheskas badvus, the lav cheskas nairos isba. Shayomi asur lishtanois. Says Shmuel, unbelievable Rashi. That day is a chazokoless day. That day is no chazoko. Because this day is no chazoko, I don't know anything about it. Even though right now she's a bogeres, and that would keilu one strike, even that is nothing. We can't say because she's bogeres now, therefore let's take it back to her being bogeres. On the other hand, I cannot say either because she was an hour for 6 months, let's continue for the next 24 hours. That 6 months of grace should continue one more 24 hours. You can't say that either. Because we know a change supposed to happen, says Shmuel, that's considered no chazaka. It's no man's land. Ever seen two countries with some gvul between them? I don't know what's happening now in the north. Hashem should help us soldiers. But I've been a few times in Tiyulim. They told us this is Israel, then there's no man's land, and then there's Lebanon, right? Hashem Yishmor, right? So that's a no man's land. That day, we don't know bichlal. No chazaka can work either backwards or forwards. And therefore, what says Shmuel? I stand by what I say. What happened 9 o'clock in the morning? Was she Naira or Bogeres? Question mark. And therefore, she would need a get from the first guy and from the second guy, as opposed to the mikveh. Now go back to the mikveh. By mikveh, you can also say this whole month was a sofek. No, but the guy wasn't. But the mikveh also. I'm asking. I'm also allowed to ask questions. Excuse me. But the mikveh too. Up until ER, what was the matzah? It was definitely good. And the end of ER by Rosh Chodesh Sivan is bad. Maybe the whole month is one black hole, one foggy time. Maybe. But we know one thing, and that is what? Since we know that the Kli was clearly Tomeh, we have one point of clarity. As opposed to the case of the girl, nothing is clear. Her Nairis Bagrus in that day is one shady, shoddy, unclear thing. Here by the mikveh, we can catch onto one clear, logical idea. The kli that the lady is asking, Rabbi, shall I throw away the kli? That kli we know for sure was tom 1,000,000% until the moment it hit the mikveh. That will be mitzaref to that clear sofek. Excuse the paradox, yeah. That clear sofek we don't know about the kli. Oh, I would say even more. No, that is clear sofek. It's a clear chazaka. It's a clear chazaka that the kli was tomeh. Now I will look at the mikveh also differently. And I'll say the mikveh now is choser. I'll view the mikveh as choser because I have a question about the mikveh. Yes or no? The point that will judge and decide the status of the mikveh really is the kli. We'll look at the mikveh as non-kosher because the kelim were 100% non-kosher before they came to the mikveh. Therefore, there we know we will definitely say, but those clearly. The mikveh was straight the whole time. Not because I know that the mikveh was straight. I will treat the mikveh as choser and treif because the item in question, the camera, the focus, the limelight is not on the mikveh, is on the kli, and the kli was clearly bad. 1,000,000% was tameh. The man and the woman and 10 people saw there was a dead, disgusting mouse inside, no question. And therefore, what? That because there was a vadeh chazaka l'reusa, tarti l'reusa, the mikvahs also looked at also badly. For shaking in a girl, everything is besophic. That's how Shmuel views it. Now Rav argues. Rav says no. Rav says because we have previous chazaka and chinami, no, because we have now the matzav of bagrus, we take the bagrus and we extend it all the way from the morning, and right from the morning should be girls. Just like here, the mikvah was choser right from the beginning of the month. Sadly, I didn't get to do the Tosfos. Hopefully tomorrow. So tomorrow we didn't finish the Amud. We have to finish the Amud because the Siyum is coming soon. Join us for the Siyum. Ask Ellen for details. But first question: everyone who Torah Anytime in YouTube should fly to Israel next week and come and join us for the Siyum, run by our good friends. Yeah. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you. I'm listening to the questions.